Okay, Matthew 24. Jesus prophesied concerning the coming event, starting with his century and going all the way to the last century, probably our century. So, somebody read 24, 1, 2, 3. Matthew 24.
1, 2, and 3. As Jesus left and was going out of the temple complex, his disciples came up and called his attention to the temple building. Then he replied to them, Don't you see all these things? I assure you, not one stone will be left here on another that will not be thrown down. While he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples approached him privately and said, Tell us, when will these things happen? And what is the sign of your coming and the end of the age?
Okay. When did this prophecy happen?
Has it? It hasn't come yet? Or
It happens in 70 AD. And at this point in time, we're about 33 AD. So it's going to happen in 17 years. And the Romans, there's a rebellion after everything settles down after the crucifixion. And there's a big uprising out in the desert. And they come in and try to run the Romans out. So the Romans decide, we've had it with these religious nuts. We are going to take the thing away from them that they cherish the most. We're going to give them the ultimate punishment. What was that?
Destroying the temple?
The temple. The temple was the one thing that they worshiped more than any. And they would give up their lives for the temple, and thousands of them did. Okay? Doesn't happen today though, right? People worship church buildings. The color of the carpet. How well the shrubbery's trimmed. I mean, still happens, right? I told you about Little Ridge Friends in Fairmount. Had a big uproar over the color of the carpet, blue or green. And the prominent family ordered the blue one. The 3/4 of the church left with another church, and Little Ridge Friends is now a cornfield. And the fellowship hall that was attached to it, the money turned into a house. Bulldozed the church down, and all because of the color of the carpet. The one family got their way, the other family didn't get their way, and the church was basically run by two families. And when we left and went to the Cornerstone Church shortly after that, I got to wondering who was running the church, God or the fries or the crackers. And turned out it wasn't God, and ends up that nobody was. Now, let's look at this a little closer. He said, do you see all these things? I tell you the truth, not one stone will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down. Now, you remember I told you how the Romans destroyed the temple?
They put it on carts and
They took every stone in the temple, they put it on carts, and they took it in all 4 directions and dumped it in side ditches and threw it in stone quarries and did everything they could to make sure that that temple would never, ever be reconstructed in their time. What are some other things that people worship other than God? Religiously. I'm not talking about the world out there and their alcohol and whatever. I'm talking about Christians. What are some other things we we tend to let get between us and God.
Addiction?
A what?
Addiction?
To what?
Anything.
Okay. You can be addicted to more things than just drugs.
Right.
You can be addicted to
Yep.
power. You want to be the one to make all the decisions. You can be addicted to
Money?
attendance. Be addicted to attendance. I remember one time I was on my way to church and I was supposed to speak that morning, and we're going down the road and it's like 6 degrees out. There's little teenage girls standing on the edge of the road and there's cars in the side ditch. So we stopped and she said, she had on this little flimsy coat and didn't have slacks on, had a dress on, probably headed for church. So we stopped and asked her if we could give her a lift, and she said, well, I just live a couple miles back down the road there. Could you take me back to my house? And my dad could help me. So we loaded her in. Well, a couple miles turned into be 7. And it wasn't right down the road there on the highway. It was back a gravel road. And there was ice all over everything. And so we got her there. And she got in the house and we got back out of there, and I showed up for church 10 minutes late, and everybody was mad. Well, I think we ought to be on time. I think we ought to be good stewards of our time. But if you're coming to church and you see some 16-year-old kid standing on the side of the road, freezing to death, don't worry about being late for Sunday school. Stop and help her, because that's the right thing to do. And you won't get any grief out of me. I think we ought to strive to get started on time, and we ought to be good stewards, but sometimes God has a mission for us.
No finger pointing, Bonnie.
Hey, she was early last Sunday, a miracle.
I was gonna
Is
be
it
early.
me?
I was almost early today, but I had to wait on Hayden, and then he decided to drive himself. No, that's true. That's a true story. I know, he's the same. Yeah, he's you.
It's you.
Well, the other side of the story is I wasn't thinking about you at all. It just going to be your conscience.
It is. It is.
Or crying eyes. It might be crying. Okay, so every single stone of this temple was disassembled, put on carts, and taken to the 4 corners of their world. Okay, 4 through. Never mind.
Now we need it. I know, I do too.
4 through 8.
Jesus answered, watch out that no one deceives you, for as many will come in my name claiming I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains.
Okay, any of that happening today?
I think so.
How about, let's go through it. Watch out for one who wants to deceive you. Many will come in my name claiming I am the Christ. Any of that going on? Right at just a little over 300 documented sermons, people have claimed to be the Christ.
300?
Just a little over 300 in the last 5 years. Okay, and it wasn't a gaffe. It wasn't a figure of speech. They went on to reinforce what they said.
In America?
What?
This happened in America? I haven't heard of anybody saying that they're Christ.
All of them are in America. I don't know what's going on in Europe, but I know what's going on in America. And I hope it was a gaffe, but what did President Trump say last week?
He was the chosen one.
I am the chosen one.
Oh.
Now, I don't think I don't know what he was thinking, but
Yeah.
he he actually said, I am the chosen one.
Did he just think he was talking about?
And I think he was talking about, he was the right person.
I'm the chosen one.
President.
Yeah.
See.
Oh, Lord.
I think he was talking about I was being I'm the right person at the right time politically to straighten out the country. Or he could have been sarcastic, but I didn't catch either one of those from it. But I tend to take words like that seriously, and he probably had no idea what he was even saying.
Now, is there just gonna be one guy at the end that's gonna do this and be big?
Actually, three of them. We did Revelation, and there was three prominent figures. There was the false prophet, which would lead the nation in religion, in a one-world religion from the seven hills. Where were the seven hills? They don't remember your geography. Rome was built on seven hills. What's the prominent religion in Rome?
Catholic, I'm assuming.
So all the Baptists are saying it's going to be the Pope. Well, I don't know if it's going to be the Pope or not. But Rome is a cultural, religious center. And so we can kind of watch that area of the world to see if it might be happening. We're going to have the false prophet, then we're going to have the beast.
That's Hillary Clinton.
What?
Is that Hillary Clinton?
No,
She's the harlot.
hang on. I'm getting there. Keep that name in mind. And he's going to be a great man of peace. He's going to negotiate a peace treaty with Israel and the Arabs. He's going to be associated with the number 666. So is there anybody on the scene that might be that person?
Jared Kushner.
Yep.
Who?
Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, that's
Trump's
negotiating
son-in-law.
the peace plan.
He pretty much spent the last 2 years in the Middle East negotiating a peace treaty. And what's his address of his office building? That he
Oh,
owns?
no, are you kidding me?
666 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. So I'm not pointing my finger and saying he's the one, but he sure is filling up a whole bunch of profits. He's real quick. Okay, and then the last one is the social leader who will be in the character of Jezebel. Hillary?
Hillary.
Yeah. Okay. And if you read the book, The Paradigm, it is amazing how she overlaps with Jezebel of the Old Testament. Jezebel of the Old Testament was in power for 22 years. Hillary Clinton was in power for 22 years.
What's there's some kind of new trend going around with women saying they have a Jezebel spirit.
Jezebel spirit.
Yeah.
Jezebel spirit, and
That's
a
the thing.
lot of churches are condoning it. The term Jezebel spirit has rose up just in the last year, and we're not going to get into that today.
Sorry.
It is an interesting study.
So real quick, the Jezebel spirit is a bad thing. So if I hear anybody say, is it bad?
Yeah, I mean, Jezebel was bad. In the Bible, yes, she was.
Okay, so if somebody says
She
I
was
have
bad, yeah.
Jezebel spirit, it's
She's
bad.
back.
Jezebel's chief goal of Israel was to bring in the prophets of Baal and to sacrifice children on the altar. And Hillary Clinton's big thing is abortion and sacrificing children. 60 million of them as of a year and a half ago. 60 million. I can go on and go on and go on. There's 3 chapters on there in the book of the Paradigm. And it is amazing how they overlap to the day. To the day. Different things that they did in their lives happen to the day. Okay, what else we got here? You'll hear wars and rumors of wars. turn on the TV and not hear
Right.
something about the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq. We had 2 soldiers killed this week in Afghanistan. There's Iraq. There's Iran, who are at the nuclear race. There's Korea, the nuclear race. 3 months ago, I checked, I said, I searched for current conflicts, and there was 247 of them. 247 current conflicts going on in the world today. At that time, Russia was attacking the Ukraine nations in the Ukraine battle. And of course, there was the thing with North Korea and South Korea and us. And China is expanding their military at a huge rate. And also, if you remember in Revelation, the Yellow Army would come into the Valley of Armageddon, 200 million strong. And China just boasted on the May Day parade that they had 200 million men in uniform 24 hours a day. The exact same number. All right. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All of these are the beginning of earth famines. Okay? Nation against nation, we talked about that. Famines. Any famines going on? 25% of 35% of California is in a famine, and we get 25% of our vegetables from California. The deserts are expanding 100 square miles a year, and they've been doing it for the last 40 years. 100 square miles a year, the deserts are growing that big. Okay. And a desert is a permanent famine. I mean, there's very little of anything you can grow in a desert that's edible. There's some scrub brush and some cactus, and you can make tequila out of that cactus. But basically, nutritious food, you can't find it in the desert.
Why is the desert growing?
Why is the desert growing? Because the Bible said it would.
Is it true that we were talking about this last night, is it true that they're like destroying the Amazon to plant crops and things like that?
Yep. The rainforest, there is a permanent fire in the rainforest right now and the smoke can be seen from the satellites.
People was talking about that this week, that it's been burning for like 2 weeks and nobody even knew about it or something until.
Yeah, it's just wiping out the Amazon rainforest. And when all that greenery is gone, of course the climate change people are saying there'll be 20% of the oxygen will be gone. If that's the case, we'll all be gone too, because it's very delicate. The atmosphere is only like 12% oxygen. It's like 70% nitrogen. Okay, so if you take 20% of 12% away, we're all going to be dead. So it's another climate change claim. You can look at the Bible and see we're not all going to be dead. God made provision. If that actually happened, we're going to have to point our fingers at God and say, "You made a mistake," and that ain't going to happen. So, don't believe all the climate, but that is the claim. 20% of the oxygen will be gone if that rainforest fires and stuff. And there were pictures of it on the news. Huge fire, so big that you can see the smoke from satellite. And that's basically, those happen because of very dry climates, and which bring on famines. All of these are the beginning of the birth pangs. Okay, it's like saying labor pains. Okay. And what is the birth that it's talking about? When it says birth pain, what is the birth it's talking about?
The end times.
What?
The end times.
The end times is the death of the old world. What is it? The birth.
The Lord coming back.
The new heaven and the new earth. The Lord's going to come back, set up his kingdom, and there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, and we're not going to be put up with all this garbage. God is going to take care of it. Everybody gets, oh, woe is me, the earth's coming apart. Well, not as long as God's on his kingdom, the earth's not coming apart. But we are seeing the beginning of the earth bank. We are seeing the signs that there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, and Jesus Christ is going to return, and there's going to be a new kingdom. Satan's going to be gone, temptation's going to be gone, sin's going to be gone, and it's going to be a great place to be. So where does that put the old, you die and go to heaven and spend eternity?
Where does it put what?
You die and go to heaven and spend eternity there. Is that where we're going to spend eternity?
Probably not. The new heaven and the new earth here, right?
That's new heaven, new earth. Jesus sets up his kingdom. We are his bride. We are his kingdom. We're going to spend it here. Now, I think if I want to go to heaven in that age, I'll be able to just go. To just be there. If I want to go see the Andromeda Nebula, I can just go. Be there. The same way. I think all those things will be available to me, but this will be our residence. And that new city that comes down, everybody says, well, what about my mansion in heaven? Remember that new city that comes down? It's 1,500 miles wide and 1,500 miles long and 1,500 miles high, halfway to the moon. How many mansions you suppose are going to be in that city? They have been built in heaven and they're ready to descend. But all indications, if you go to the 19th, 20th, 21st chapter of Revelation, it's talking about what is on earth after the second coming of Jesus Christ. It's not talking about heaven. And why would that great city of Jerusalem descend on the old Jerusalem if we were going to be somewhere else? Everybody says we're going to die and go to heaven. And if we die before Jesus Christ returns, that is true. We are going to die and go to heaven. But when he returns, we're going to return with him and watch the final battle, and then rule all of creation with Jesus Christ. Any questions on that? Everybody got that? Free and clear, right? The mortgage in your new mansion is 9-14.
Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other, and many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come.
Okay. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. How does that fit Christianity today?
Very well.
Our own government wants to kick us out. They want to take the name of Jesus off everything in Washington. And then they want to complain because the society's gone run amok. You take Jesus out of anything, it falls apart. He's the creator. He's the morality. He's the guidance. He is everything that holds it together. And if you kick Jesus out, it's like pulling the load-bearing walls out of your house. Everything's going to fall apart. Our schools are falling apart. Now, we got pretty good schools right around here. but don't send your kids to Indianapolis. My daughter's trying that right now, and she's mad every day of her life. And, 4 new schools have set aside an hour a week for drag queens to come and have story time with the children in the library.
In schools?
Just in the last week. That makes over 50. And it's progressing like a snowball rolling downhill. I'm not gonna go into the gory details, but it is not pretty. It is not pretty.
She needs to come back home. She needs to come back home, your daughter.
Well, he's the homeschool. And after 8 years of college, she had a 3.998. There's no reason why she can't. And if I have to go to Indianapolis a couple times a week to teach them, I'll go. But the schools are going crazy. And it's just, we don't want to offend anybody. And so the 97% has to bow to the 3%. That's how 3% of the nation supports the LGBT, whatever thing is. And 97% don't do it. But we are being politically correct, we're bowing to the 3%. We wouldn't want to hurt their feelings.
I
All
am
right.
proud of Orleans that still, and I don't know if other schools around it who, I know Orleans does, they have, where I think it's 2 or 3 days a week they can go to, the kids are actually allowed to go to the church. Bus takes them over to the church and they have
Yep.
lessons.
Well, that's small town USA. But who really runs the country? Us
The bad
or
people.
the people in the big cities?
Exactly.
Okay. And the big cities are where their immorality is. And it's going to filter down to us. We're going to have fighting.
Oh, I don't fight, they won't see, they'll see mom coming, we ain't doing that at that school,
Well,
I got the bus driver quitting now, so trust me, I'll get it, I'll get it.
This week was move-in week up at, this week was move-in week up at IU. And you've always seen a lot of guys dressed with fingernails painted and makeup stuff. I bet there's 3 times as many this year moved back in
Oh, yeah.
as there was last year.
Oh, we should pray for you this week.
they didn't.
Oh, trust me, my temper was,
They didn't.
I think I need to come and work.
They didn't come out of the closet. They flooded out of
I'm
the
worried about
closet.
him.
Yeah.
He's a good looking fella.
Just put a dress on him, he'll fit right in.
you ain't got to worry
And
about me.
they're trying to take over our society. And the society of the United States is beginning to look more and more and more like the time of Jezebel, and with all the tolerances and all the people that are acknowledged and supported and taken care of. Let's go there. At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. Okay. How does the church compare today with the church in 1950?
Not so good.
Better, worse,
I don't think better.
more conservative, more,
No.
just the numbers. The population is advanced by hundreds of millions, but the church is down 20%. If the population was up 50%, you would think the church would be up 50%. Okay? Not only is the church not up 50% and just holding its own in status quo, the church is down 20% with hundreds of millions of people added to the population. So we're talking a huge decline.
We're even fighting amongst ourselves. I mean, the Methodists, that big
Oh, yeah.
deal we just had, we'll have it again.
And it's not just the Methodists fighting with the Baptists, it's the Methodists fighting with the Methodists.
Well, that's because you got too many people that claim to be Christian who are willing to accept all this junk. and say it's
Last year,
okay.
a good friend of ours came down that we went to that Little Ridge Friends Church with, and Jerome looked at me and said, "Bill, how in the world did you end up a Methodist?" I said, "Well, Jerome, number one, they're not very good Methodists, but they're great Christians, and that's why I'm here. You guys aren't very good Methodists, thank God, but you're great Christians." And I've been in a lot of churches in 72 years, and this church has shown me the greatest love of any church I've ever been in, except for 2 or 3 people. We won't go.
You know, one other thing, Bill, that's kind of neat is up on campus, there's only one church that I know of on campus. It's not used. And we keep it up. I mean, we keep the air going and everything. They've been talking for the last 2 years about turning it into an office building. I don't know who it is. Somebody keeps blocking it. They won't let them stop it. And that's the only, and it's got a big sign out front that says all students are welcome to it. But somebody keeps blocking them shutting it down and turning it into an office building.
Yep. Okay. At that time, many will turn away from the faith. Many false prophets will appear and deceive many people because of the increase in wickedness. Crime up. Oh yeah. Because of the increase, and it said the love for Christians will wane, and my passport expired this year. My daughter wanted me to renew it, and I said, "Why would I do that?" She said, "Well, you might want to go somewhere." I said, "The United States right now is the most hated nation in the world. Why would I want to go visit somebody that hates me?" She didn't take that very well, but I didn't renew my passport either. The love of most will grow cold, but he who stands firm to the end will be saved. Does it seem to you like love is growing cold?
Definitely.
Yeah. So much hate.
Just go into the schools, you don't see any empathy among little kids. Little kids are not moved. They don't feel sorry. They don't feel like they don't.
They can take a machine gun in and kill half the class, and they don't feel any compassion about it at all. There's a lot of reasons for that, and we can't deal with them right now. We got to go upstairs, but that's where we'll start next week.